Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining Create with Dee. I'm Dee Slater, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator. Welcome to my channel and today's video class. We are going to be using the Woolly Friends bundle from Stampin' Up! It's in their current annual catalog. It's such a fun bundle. It's a Stampin' Punch. The punch is a builder punch, and so we're going to go over that here today. Also, this is you can get the materials to make this free with your online order. Details are below in the description. So if there's anything that you need from Stampin' Up! And you're not working with another demonstrator, please check out my online store. All right, so before we get started with class, and while everyone's getting notifications that I'm going live, just a little reminder that for those of you that earned bonus day coupons last month in January, this is a month now that you redeem it. So if you just check your emails, the email address that you used when you place your online Stampin' Up! Order, that's the email address that your bonus coupon that will be sent to. So you just copy and paste it into your order for this month. That's when this month is the redeeming month for those coupons, and you're all set. Okay, let me go ahead and I'll turn the camera around and we'll get started with this class here. So I am going to make all 3 cards here, and here's what we're going to make today. So again, this is all using the Woolly Friends bundle. We'll go over that more in detail. Look how cute that is. I think it's just adorable. So my local stampers are making it this week. I had my Tuesday class. We made that, and then I have a Saturday class. So again, before we get doing the bundle, got a couple of, or doing the stamping, got a couple of tips on when using builder punches. And a builder punch versus just a regular punch, when you hear builder, it means that the images are meant to actually be used to put together to make another image. So you've got the different shapes to make our woolly lamb here, different images to make them 3D. So for this bundle and this punch, that builder punch, you can punch out one of the bodies. You can punch out the lamb's head. And then the other 2 images are a little bow and a little bell. And so there's different tips on how to use builder punches, but how I'm going to do it today is show you how I normally do it when I have multiple ones that I'm doing here. Hello, Mary Ann. How are you? Hope you're doing good. Thanks for watching live. All right, so this is one that if you have the builder punch, feel free to take a screenshot on this, but here's a little tip for successfully punching. Okay, so what I am showing here is that go ahead and stamp your image first and then cut down a strip, because what we're going to do is like here's the orientation. So when you go to stamp, when you want to punch these little images out for the body stamp, that's this one here, turn it upside down so that I'm going to call it like leg of lamb, okay? So you'll put it upside down and you'll stamp all the way to the far right. And I have on here, you'll stamp it far right on the paper, but you're going to bring it in from the left. Hi, Dorothy. Thanks for watching. Okay, so that's what that's going to look like. Okay, and the reason why this is a tip is otherwise you're stamping and punching everything kind of all at once, right? So like, you know, like otherwise you're going to get all of these scraps and they go everywhere. But if you cut down your paper size to the image size, that will help. And again, the tip on this, and we're going to go through all of this, everybody. Let me go ahead and put my little face up here. Whoops. Oh, goodness. Hang on with me just a second. There we go. All right, there we are. Okay, so, and we're gonna show this. So just kind of hang with me, but this is how you want to stamp. And this is a 2-inch wide here, okay? So it's a 2-inch strip. Okay, so now when you're doing your lamb's head, you're gonna stamp it. And this is an inch strip. You're gonna stamp it on the far left-hand side. So don't put it like this. Again, I'm trying to do it so that you have the least amount of little splatters that go everywhere, the little other ones. So you'll stamp it on the left and feed it from the right. Okay. And again, we're gonna do this several times so that you're gonna see it. And then here's the bow. And this is a 3/4 inch, and you want to stamp it upside down at an angle. And I didn't do the bell because I'm not using the bell in class, but you would do this, you would kind of figure out the same way for the bell. Okay, so stamp it on the left, feed it from the right. Okay, so we're going to be going all through this in more detail. But again, if you want to, you know, if you have this bundle or you're thinking about it and want to take a screenshot of that right here, let me pull it down, you can, or just refer back to it if you, in case you go, now how did Dee do that? All right, so there's that. Let's go ahead and we'll make some of these cards. Well, we're going to make all of the cards. I really love this stamp set because it does give us like a little welcome cutie. So, you know, you can make a baby card or a shower card on it, but it so uses like some of the puns with you, like you're fabulous, you make me happy, and sending flowers and sunshine. So it's just a fun little spring cutesy set, and I'm all about cutesy all the time. All right, now I'm ready to go. All right, on our first card here, and I've designed this this class so that not only are the cards cute, but they're also cute and simple. And these are layouts that you can use for any of your stamps that you have. All right, so let me go ahead and I'll put up the measurements on this first one here. That one's not that. There we go. All right, so I'm using Lemon Lolly for my card base. Cute Spring, kind of embracing the Subtles collection on this one. 5.5 by 8.5. Gonna do some stamping on the inside. And that's gonna be basic white of 4 by 5 1/4. And we're gonna need another piece of basic white. And that is going to be 2 3/4 by 4. I'm going to layer that on a piece of Granny Apple Green from 4 1/4 or 3 by 4 1/4. And using a strip of some of the Brights Designer Series paper, 1.5 by 5.5. Okay, so that's, you can take screenshots of that later on if you'd like. And let's go back here. Okay. So let's do some stamping and coloring. And this is kind of showing you all of the fun little things that you can do with this stamp set. And let me get some scrap paper here. Okay, white on white. It's probably not the best. Let me get some grid paper because I need to have a scrap paper underneath of it. Here we go. Okay, so on this one, this is just the joy of using our stamps. We're going to, I'm going to do some coloring using blends. So I've got my Tuxedo Black Memento ink. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp twice on the left-hand side of the layering piece of basic white. Okay. And then I'm going to, while I have that, I used Granny Apple Green for the sentiment, and that one is the Sending Flowers. Let's see here. Sending Flowers. The girls at class, they were using basic or the black for the sentiment, and that looked really cute too. I just wanted to kind of reinstate the Granny Apple Green. Okay, so I'm gonna go ahead and stamp the Sending Flowers and Sunshine. Get that there. And then there's this cute little butterfly. It's just the sweetest little butterfly image. So little itty bitty. I'm going to do some coloring on that too. So I'm just going to, and I wanted to stamp the sentiment first. There we go. All right, kind of put that back for now. So we're layering the background pieces for this. Wanted to have just a little bit of blue skies in the background, very subtle on that. So I'm taking a blending brush and I'm just using, this is my pressure here with my pointer finger and seeing what's on that. That needs a little more blue. So let's go ahead and get some blue sky. Don't want a whole lot, I just want a little bit. So, and I'm just gonna put it right in the center there. Super subtle. Okay, looks good. You can make your sky however you like. I just like to give that little nod to a blue sky. And then back with our Granny Apple Green. I'm going to make some, or let's do some coloring first. All right, so I have Granny Apple Green markers, Stampin' Blends. There's also, we could be stamping if we wanted to. There's filler stamps here for these flowers. And it's all one stamp, so you don't have to stamp these little individual ones. It lines up perfectly with that. I just use the marker here. Oh, shoot. I want a green flower. I just go fast. I'm not adding, like with the blends, of course, you can add depth and dimensions to your images by going over the colors, doing outlines. I'm just using it as literally the marker. All right, and now I'm going to take my, let's see, and that one was the light Granny Apple Green, and I'm using the light Lemon Lolly. And that's going to be our little yellow tulips here. So I've got the Granny Apple Green light and the Lemon Lolly light. And I'll come back later and I can use my color. Okay, then also in the stamp set, and then we'll get to our doing our cute little builder sheep here. There's this little grass, and I'm going to put grass all along the bottom here. And then I'm going to come back and kind of, whoops, make a couple of different layers because I want that grass to go right down to the bottom. So don't be afraid to come over and make like two layers of grass. Okay, we've got that. And then you can take the basic white layer for the inside and just kind of do that same little thing on the inside for it while you've got everything out. All right, now we've got that. Let's make some sheep, and we're going to do this kind of all at once. And let me get my 2-inch strip here. All right, so for this class, we're going to need 2 of the bottoms of our sheep or lamb that we have here. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp twice. I'm going to get my little cheat sheet out. So I know I need to stamp on the right and feed from the left. Hello, Roz. Central Florida. Hello. Thanks you guys for watching. All right, so I'm going to take my Tuxedo Black Memento ink and my So here's the image. You know, this is what it's going to come up to. But in order to use our builder punch, again, the tip is to turn it around. Think about it as a, you know, rack of lamb. Hate to kind of say that, but, you know, we'll do feet up. And I'm going to stamp. And once you make a couple of these, you would have like an understanding of how to space it. But I'm going to give myself plenty of space here and do my second one. Okay, so I've got my 2 images on that. And now I'm going to take our cute little head. And for class, we're going to need 3 of our heads here. And I can get my little cheat sheet. And if you want to, you can make these cheat sheets up ahead of time and keep them with your stamp set so that you kind of remember how to do it. And it looks like my one camera's like, again, buffering a little bit. So just, I guess, bear with me on it. I don't know why it's done it this time. This month has been very challenging. Okay, so on the head of our lamb, we know we need to stamp to the left and feed it from the right. So I'm going to see if I can get 3 images out of this. Oops, that's low. Let's try this again. Leave a little space. You don't want to put it too close because there will be, you know, we do need some extra little wiggle room on that. And you know, this is an inch. You might want to do just an inch and change to give yourself a little wiggle room. Okay, so that's, again, we want to stamp on the left, feed from the right. And then our bow, I've got a 3/4 inch strip here. And that gets stamped on the left. And then if we angle it up a little bit, that will work. Okay. So you know how I mentioned that on the flowers that you can, they have these images that stamp over top of it. They have the same thing for the bow and the bell. And so for the bow, I'm going to go ahead and take our Granny Apple Green again. And I want to go ahead, and I do like to color the images before, on these little ones before I punch, because they're so, you know, tiny, it can make it challenging. So I inked up that, and I can come right over the image and stamp it. Oh, actually, I did that with, well, we're not using this on this one. Okay, so hold please. We're not going to use that one. Never mind. This card doesn't get that. I was all excited about using that. All right, so I'm going to put my cheat sheets away, and we can go ahead and get these done. And get my builder punch. So this is the Woolly Friends builder punch. And now, so I stamped on the right, feed from the left, and punch. And as you can see, there's little shavings because all of those are pretty tight. And then what we want to do is go ahead and take our scissors and trim this off. It just helps with all of the little extra flyaways on it. And we'll do it again. Okay, so we have that. So that's what we're going to need for our 3 cards, just 2 of the bodies. And now on our heads, we're going to come in and feed from the right side. Line it up. I'm pressuring it about halfway down until I get it where I want. Make sure I don't have my fatty part of my thumbs anywhere near it, and punch. And if you want to, you can keep going down the line. But as you can see here, like all of that stuff will kind of fly. Oh, or, you know, you'll punch it away. And we'll punch. And then on this last one here, I know I said feed from the other way, but I didn't give myself enough scrap, so I'm coming in this way. But if you give yourself a nice long strip like we did on here, you can keep trimming it down. And do that. Again, I'm kind of just holding it halfway. Kind of lock it in and then punch. Ooh. And the more extra paper that you have on the open spots, the more you'll hear it kind of really punch loud. Okay, so we've got that. And we're ready to put this card together. All right, so I'm just kind of showing some different coloring colors options. So for this one, I like to do outlines. So I have light crumb cake just to kind of give a little bit of dimension to our sheep image. And I'm using the fine tip point, and I'm just outlining, like, so anything that's got a black outline, any of the stamp, just follow along. For the sake of the video, I'm going kind of fast, but really it doesn't matter. It's just about adding, again, some almost highlights to it. So as you can see, I'm not being real careful, but it's still cute. Same thing with this, kind of coloring in. If you want to, you can color in the little tuft on the top, kind of the top of his or her little hairdo. So just kind of going fast for the sake of the video. You might want to be a little more careful. Then I'm all about pink cheeks. Any pink will do. I've got light flirty flamingo. You could use bubble bath, pretty in pink, any of those. And just make 2 little highlights. Okay, let's put this card together. Isn't that a fun little card? I think so. But it's just kind of an idea of how that you can use the set from kind of start to finish. So I'm just going to fold my 8.5 by 11 lemon lolly in half. And then I'm going to take my Brights Collection Designer Series paper. This is actually a retired one. I'm saving the current ones for my, like the people that get the class kit to go. Or they get, they're taking class, or they earn the free with purchase, craft along. And, you can put this anywhere. I'm just kind of going to put it, about in the center. When I go to cut these, I tend to cut this just a tad bit long. You can see here it's just off just by a little bit. And that's because I just thought, in case my card base isn't exactly at 5.5, maybe I had it off a little bit, I can always trim off that extra section. There we go. Let's get this back down. Now we can layer, and I'm keeping this off to the side for putting our sheep on. Okay, so get my liquid glue. Put that down. So this might be a little longer video than what you might be used to me having. If you're watching the replay, of course, you can always skip ahead to the next one. And I'm popping up with the Stampin' Up! Dimensionals. Dimensionals are what Stampin' Up! Calls their foam dots. And we'll get those out. It's always fun after I get done with the videos because I'm not careful with my backings. I just kind of flick them out of the road. They're all over the floor. Now just get that centered on our card front. And then I'll take our body and put a couple of dimensionals on that. This is the card that also, I don't want to say it takes the longest, but it has, more of the steps that we're going to have here today. And I'll put that here on the space that I left here on the right-hand side of our focal image on the front. Popping up the head as well. Now here's where you can have some fun. You can put your little lamb however head that you want. You can, you know, I'm kind of bringing it so it's inside, kind of going back over this way. Whoops, and I forgot to color the butterfly. So using the same pink that you use for the cheeks, it doesn't matter. Kind of just color in the little butterfly. And that's our card. Look how cute that is. Oh, she's at keep extras in a little. That's good too. Yep. Excellent. Yep. It's however you like, whatever works for you. You know, just again, I just like if I'm just doing different sections of the punch out, somebody commented that they make a little template and put in there or follow like they call it a jig. You know, you can do that for whatever, however you like. And then, oops, and then I'm going to add a little sparkle to the lamb using Wink Stella. So little glitter to face and the body. Okay, so that's our first card with using the Woolly Lamb, or I always call it Woolly Lamb, the Woolly Friends bundle. All right, so that's card number 1. And let's go ahead and get these here. My gosh. I probably won't find them here in a second. Okay, our next card, it's kind of showing the same, what do I say? The same thing as far as like how we do with the head, like we have it here, only this time we're going to use the little bow. And I'm embracing the colors of soft seafoam green. So soft seafoam green and lemon lolly are part of the Brights collection. And so you could, if you wanted little samples of the cardstock, you could always get the Brights or the Subtles, etc. Cardstock collection. You get a little sample or get a, you know, a few pieces of each color within that. Oops. And before we get started on that, let me pull up the the dimensions. And let's see. There we go. All right. So for this card, we are using the soft seafoam green 5.5 by 8.5 on our cardstock. Going to need 2 pieces of basic white. And these are 5 1/4 by 4. One of them I've already pre-embossed with the textured bricks embossing folder. And then we're going to need layering pieces for the main focal point, basic white of 2.5 by 2.5 and soft seafoam green of 2 3/4 by 2 3/4. For the inside of the card, we're going to have a piece of our Subtles Designer Series paper at 4 1/4 by 1. And I used the Banners Punch to do the banner. That's what we're going to use for the front. Okay, let's put this card together. And we'll start with our little lamb image. And let me get this turned back around. Okay. So on here, I'm just going to show you a different orientation that you can use for this body here. This body here does not have a punch or a die cut that you can do, but if you wanted to, you could easily fussy cut or trim around that to make it 3D. And I have it here where our little lamb is just kind of standing upright. On this version of it, I'll kind of show how you can make him have him or her have a little side view, and then we'll stamp and punch the bow. So this is the other, like kind of the wide spread apart angle. And if we want, we can kind of put it up on the, like you can put put the feet so that it's facing down like it's on the ground. And the other one can be up. So it can be kind of like it's happy and dancing. Oops. I got a little carried away with my stamping there. other side, I re-inked my Memento ink and I got it pretty juicy. As you see here, I wanted to put it towards the bottom. And actually, I think I like this one. I'll come in with some white out and cover that up. I don't want it quite as far down as what that is. I want to leave a little space. Okay, so that's down. And then we're going to take one of our little heads. And I'm going to save doing the bow to last just so I don't lose it here. On this one, I just wanted to show how like is a lamb's outline, you know, would you ever think about doing it in green? No, not necessarily, but you can just so pick up the color of your cardstock on that outline. So I just kind of wanted to keep this all the same as far as the color palette. And this would be like with using this would give you a really nice generic baby card too with the soft seafoam green. So you could always switch out the sentiment to welcome cutie and have a, you know, a baby shower or a baby congratulations card on hand. Okay, so I'm going to take our light, and you could take the dark too, but I don't know why I tend to gravitate towards the light on these for outlining. And we're going to do the same thing. We're just going to outline real fast. If I was doing this not on camera, I would probably take my time just a little more, but just kind of trace around all of the black line art. And going to do the same thing with the head. Again, if you want, you can color in the tuft on the top. And of course, you could always take your markers and like do your browns and your grays or whatever other color that you'd want, and you could color all of that in. Oh, speaking of coloring it in, if you wanted to, you can take this image here. It matches both of that, and that's a filler. So, you know, you could put this in a tan. I could have made the green and stamped the image on that. So it's just kind of a filler on that. Do I have everything there? Oops, let's do this. Yeah, there we go. And then I'm going to take my little pink marker and we'll get some cheekies. Oh, that's more of a blush. Just make it the same on both sides. Okay. And get with this, our little banner. I'd gone ahead and stamped the banner ahead of time. And this one says, "You are fabulous." Get that over here. And I could use the soft seafoam green, but I just thought it was a little too light. So I gravitated back towards my granny apple green. It's kind of the next tone up. So it's still green on green. And we'll get that stamped. You are fabulous. All right. And we've got one more thing to do. Let's go ahead and we'll stamp our bow in the color that I really want, which is the soft seafoam green. So we're going to do that again. Let's go ahead and take our Memento ink. If you want to, you can grab your cheat sheets on here. This was we're stamping on the left, feeding from the right. And we want to angle it up. And if this, like on some of these, if it's a little too much, feel free to just fussy cut. These are not difficult images to cut around. Let's see here. Where is my soft seafoam green? Oh, right in front. Okay, so now I want the filler stamp. Again, I find it easier to do before it's punched out on these smaller ones. And get our builder punch. Stamp on the left, feed from the right on the bow. Line it up, kind of press it halfway to hold it in place to see if that's where I want it. And then punch, shake it out. Okay, now we've got all of our components. Let's put this card together. All righty. So we'll go ahead and you can score or fold your 8.5 by 11 or 8.5 by 5.5 in half. And again, I took the, let's see, this is the embossed brick embossing folder. And ahead of time, I embossed one of the 5 1/4 by 4 layers. And that's just going to be on our card front here. I also think that this is a cute bundle and a nice bundle for, in my opinion, fast mass production. So if you wanted to make a bunch of these at a time, you know how you kind of saw me have that lined up, you could stamp and punch out a bunch of images. Or as, you know, Roz had said there that maybe it's something that you just want to mass produce and kind of keep them in your stash anyways. Or like keep them in with the stamp set. Oops. Okay. And while we go ahead and get some of our things out of the road. Again, this is from this year's designer series paper, the Subtles. You know, this is, I think I'm going to use the solid side here. I think it makes it a little more universal. Of course, I would always do the flower. And you can either put this way down at the bottom or, you know, pull it up a little bit. Marge and Marilyn at class, they had theirs pulled up a little bit, and I kind of liked that. Kind of gave it a little more. Mine was clear down at the bottom. That's up to you. And let's go ahead and trim this off. Okay, and then that goes on the inside. I purposely leaving the inside blank for right now because I'm not sure how I'm going to use it, because I might take one of my other stamp sets and put like happy birthday on the inside, or you are fabulous, you know, thinking of you, whatever other sentiment that I might want to put on the inside. Okay. And then for our outside, take our body. Again, that's on a 2.5 by 2.5. And it's going to be like it's up here dancing, having fun. And let's go ahead and use our Stampin' Dimensionals again. Get this put on. Thanks, you guys. I'm glad that you like everything. Yes, I know. It's like we don't always have to have like overly complicated cards. In fact, I think, I don't want to say, you know, simple and sweet, because there's actually, you know, there's a little bit of steps to all of this, but nothing, you know, like stamping doesn't have to be hard. And I was also trying to give you a class that maybe it's something that if you just added your own, like maybe just added the bundle to your stash, but you could so grab a bunch of other things, you know, whatever embossing folder that you might have, you can emboss with. Very replicatable, which is what I was really trying to do for everybody this time. And put that. I like to go ahead and like, so he like so excited. Ta-da! It's like standing up with the little happy dance. And then let's see, do I have my mini? You can take some, actually your mini dimensionals would work the best. I thought I had some right on hand, but I don't. So this is a great way to use a little bit of your edge pieces of your other foam dots. Dimensionals, mini dimensionals are perfect for that though. And then I just add a little bit. And it's underneath. I like to tuck it under just a little bit, but I like to have it so that the head's on first. It's so cute. Oh my gosh. Easily amused, but so, what do I say? It's just, I like cute. I just can't help it. Cute makes me the happiest. And then I'm just going to add our sentiment. If you didn't have the banner punch, you know, you could just make your own banner. or use a banner die. And then for this one, adding a little bit of rhinestones. Just have the basic rhinestones here. And let's go ahead and just put one on either side. Just a little bling. Get our Wink of Stella. Sparkle up our little sheep guy that's all happy. And there we go. So that's our second card of our craft along. That's what it looks like on the bottom. You know, so whichever way that you like it. But that's another layout that you can use for your woolly lamb or your woolly friends. And then our last card that we're going to do, I'm actually showing the product of the month on here. That's the designer paper. It was a couple months ago, but it's still available as a choice that you can do. Yes, I agree. It's like we all need cute in today's world. Absolutely. Absolutely. And so this is the True Blue Florals is what I used on that. But, you know, you can use whatever designer paper that you might have. And I just took different patterns from the designer paper. I used that same, I'll call it like it has the double banner tail on it. And I punched out 5 strips of that. Oops. And that's how I had that. And let's see here. So let me get up the dimensions on this one. Nope. Nope. Third time's a charm. All right, so for this, we're going to need a piece of thick basic white. That's 5.5 by 8.5 for our card base. Going to need a piece of basic white that is our 4 by 2 3/4. And I've got ahead and embossed that with the eyelet. This is the eyelet, and I'll show that up close. Eyelet embossing folder. Night of Navy 4 1/4 by 3. Piece of designer series paper. That's that True Blue Florals 1 by 4 1/4. And our 5 sections of the designer series paper punched out in the banners. You can do strips on those too if you'd like. Let's see, get those out of the road. Okay, let's go ahead and get us back into our mode. Okay, so this one's going to go real fast for us because we've already got the punching elements. And I'm going to go ahead. Let's go ahead and do some coloring here first. I'm using light balmy blue for the outline. Is this? Yes. And so that we can use that. Same thing. Go fast. Doesn't have to be perfect. It's just given the outline. Helps accent it. So using blue to complement all of our blue paper. Oh my goodness. And our pink again. Just want to try to be a little more careful. Let's just do a little dot. Beep. Okay, we've got that. And we're going to do our inside stamping first. The only sentiment that I have on here, I don't have any sentiment for the outside. I just have it on the inside. You make me happy. Again, this is going to, I don't think it has to have anything on the front necessarily. If you wanted to, you could always add another sentiment to the front, like happy birthday, you make me happy. Hello, you make me happy. I just kind of thought it was cute by itself. And let's see here, get my bone folder, get this out. So with Night of Navy, I'm going to go ahead and stamp from the stamp set that we had. You know, you make me happy. Get my Night of Navy. Okay. You make me happy. And then you can put this on the inside. Again, I kind of left a little bit extra on the end just in case. So on one side, I'm not going to go quite all the way to the end. Give myself a little bit of, I don't want the glue clear on the outside, because I know I trimmed it just a little long on purpose. On this one, I'm going to go ahead and put it all the way to the bottom. Even if I cut this at 1 1/4 exactly for the inside, because of the score mark there, you do lose just like a 1/16 of an inch. So you may, even if you cut it perfectly, you may have to trim a little bit off. So don't worry about that. Just go ahead and do it. Oops, but that's how you can kind of use up some of your designer paper too, is on the inside. Here's the eyelet designer series, or the, you know, embossed. I just thought it was kind of, I don't want to say it was woolly, because it's not, but I just kind of liked the raised look of it along with like sheep's wool for some reason. I don't know. Just it, when I was looking through my embossing folders, I thought that one looked like a fun one to have. And I had something pop up on my screen here. This is weird. Hang on. I got a new printer for home. And when I was doing the, you know, the software download and installation, I don't know, I must have said yes to something. And I keep getting this like, you know, antivirus pop-up screen that happens. So randomly it came up, and so I couldn't see anything that was going on. So I had to clear it. Oh my gosh, so crazy. Okay. All right, so if you did not, you know, have the banner punch or something like that, you could sew, just take, I think these are 1/2 by 2 1/4 inch strips of paper, and you could just angle cut them or just leave them plain, you know. So you can, again, just do 1/2 inch strips by 2 1/4, and you'd be all set on that. But if you have this, if you have that banner punch, you know, you could go ahead and use that. This is the hardest part of anything, is to decide which paper to use, which side of the paper. And I'm just going to start putting some down. What I like to do is put something on the top first. So I kind of lay out my color palette that I want. So I put the first strip down. I don't like measure anything. If you wanted to, you could pop these up, but we're going to pop up this layer and the lamb, and so I didn't want too many pop-ups. Okay, and then I like to do the bottom and just kind of eyeball and space it out so it looks right for you. And, you know, you can lay it out first on your card here as well. And then I split the difference on the next one. So just put your other one in the middle. Again, you can kind of just eyeball it. And then use your other ones and go in between that. So to me, that's the easiest way. I was watching one of my card gals, Tammy, who she's a really good stamper. She started in the middle and then worked her way out from that. And that worked for her. if what works for you is to lay them out and put little pencil marks on it so that you know exactly where you want to do it, you know, that's great. Again, whatever works for you with how to space them. Oops. And I don't want two darks together. So before it gets too tacky in there, you put that one down here and this one up here. Okay. All right. So that's how I do it. You might have another way that works best for you. If you do, please give me, you know, like I said, Tammy kind of starts in the center and then works her way on either side of it. Let me know if you do something a little different. Hi there from Cincinnati. Hi, Joe. How's it going? All right, so get this. We'll get our card front put together. So, if you place an order with me this month of 45 or more, you'll get all of the things that you need to make this card minus any stamped images. For Stampin' Up, no stamped images are included, but everything else that I can punch or die cut or, you know, emboss will come that way. Then you could just add your own stamped images. But again, I wanted to make it so that whether you use the lamb or not for your order, you could still use the layouts. Okay, so on this time, I don't have any wet wipes handy because my hands are so sticky from the glue. You can see I used a scrap piece of paper for that. So, you know, definitely do that. That's why we keep our scraps. Okay, and then I'm putting this off to the side. And how I had on our first card, I had our lamb's head looking like towards the center. I kind of like to do that on this one as well. And this one, I'm not putting anything around its neck or anything. It's just going to be right there, except for a little Wink of Stella. On my sample card, before I was thinking about it, I grabbed the pool party, and I did pool party around. And so really any of your blue tones of your markers will work for that. All right, so then this is our last card. So just kind of a cute one. You make me happy. If you've got some, you know, for a masculine card, this might be, you know, cute to give for that, whether they're in college or whatever else, just kind of a cute little one. Let me bring all of the other cards back in. And before I do my goodbyes, I want to kind of show you a little tip here of what I did. Let's see. Guess that one's good. Doesn't matter which three we use. Okay. So, you know, here's some basic outlines or layouts. Not too hard to cut. They're in our, you know, in force and everything. But here's what I wanted to share with you. Look how on this card here, it's the exact same measurements. So the white layer is our 2 3/4 by 4. And then the matting layer is 4 1/4 or 4 1/4 by 3. It's just changing up the orientation and changing up what we do on the inside of it, you know, by just adding some paper behind it and then using that as a whole stamping out. I mean, it doesn't even look like it's the same layout, but it's almost the same layout, but two totally different cards, just with that one matting layer and changing it up. Oh, thank you. I'm glad that you like it all. But look how cute. These are from, like, the colors from here are from the subtle collections, you know, so if you wanted, again, to take advantage of ordering collections, that would work for you. You could so do that. And then this is just another layout that you can use up some of your scraps of your designer series paper. Okay, let me go ahead and I'll turn the camera back around and officially say bye to all of you, my Stampin' friends. Well, I hope you enjoyed today's more extended class than what I normally do. I normally don't make 3 cards, but I thought I'd kind of change it up a little bit and just kind of share with you not only 3 different ways that you can use your Woolly Friends bundle, if that's something that's on your radar, or if you already have it in your stash, or what you could expect with the, the card class or the card, class kit to go. If that's something that if you place an online order with me of 45 or more, I'll send you, the materials with envelopes for the card bases for all of this. Anything I can stamp and emboss, not stamp, excuse me, anything that I can emboss or punch out for you ahead of time, I will, but no stamped images are included. But, you can do so much with this layout with what you already have in your stash, or maybe something new that you get. All right, if you have any questions anytime, please use the information down below this video to reach out for me and contact. If you liked anything in this video, boy, I sure would appreciate a thumbs up. Leave a comment or even share the video. And if you haven't already, I invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel to really help my channel grow and share my content. Thanks for watching, everybody. Happy crafting. Bye-bye.